Hi loves, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you how to sew this simple corset top. In my previous tutorial, I shared how to draft the pattern for this corset top. So if you are yet to see that, I'll have the link to that video in my description. Now let's get into it. So I went ahead to cut all the pieces, 2 pieces each for the pattern pieces, 2 pieces main fabric, 2 pieces line, and only 1 piece each for the center front because it's on fold. So I'll go ahead and add interfacing to each of the cut pieces, the lining and then the main fabric, and then we'll move on to sewing the pieces together. So here is the pieces with the interfacing. Now I'm just going to join all the corresponding pieces together, making sure to join the underbars to the other underbars. So I'll do the lining separately, then I'll also work on the main fabric separately, front separately, and then back separately. Now for the main fabric, the front of the main fabric, you realize I added a thicker interface, and this is to help ensure that the bust area is a bit firm. So that's why I added it. I'll go ahead and pin this part too. I'll also pin the back pieces separately, and we'll go ahead and then sew all the pieces together. So this is how it's looking after sewing all the pieces we joined together. This is how the inside is looking, really neat and nice. I went ahead to iron and then notched all the curved area, and you can see how it's standing. The bust area or the boobs area is standing out. That is what we want. That's why we created a tightening at the underbust. Even on the lining, you can see how the boobs area is standing out. So I went ahead to iron all the pieces, notched the curved parts, did the same thing for the back. I ironed the lining and the main fabric, making sure that it's neat. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join in the sides of the back and the front pieces together. I'll do the lining part separately and then the main fabric separately. So this is the lining. I'm joining the back sides to the front sides, and I'll pin them together. I'll do the same for the front and go and sew the sides. I'll be sewing by 1 inch allowance. That is the allowance we left on it. So I'll be sewing with 1 inch sewing allowance. This is what we have after joining the back and then the front pieces together. It's looking really nice already. So the next thing I am going to be doing is to attach my boning channels. I didn't create my boning channels on the main fabric because I wanted to use an African print to create my boning channels. So I'm using these strips of fabric to create my boning channel. My channels are going to be on this side here. I'll have one here, and I'll have the middle, then I'll have one more at the back. where we joined our nipple to nipple. So this is what we are having after putting on my boning channel. It's already looking so nice. So I will go ahead and attach the lining part to the main fabric at the top. So I align all the sides together, the corresponding sides, starting from the middle or the center. I'll pin that together and pin all the other parts, then go ahead and sew the top. I'll be sewing by 1/2 inch on the top part of the corset. After joining the lining to the main fabric at the top, this is how it looks like. I went ahead to top stitch it, and this is how it's looking like. It's already coming out so nice and neat. And I am going to insert my boning channels, but before then, the sides, the hip area were a bit pointy, so I went ahead to adjust it a little bit, as you can see me doing, and I wanted it to be a bit curved, so I did that also. What I did was I went up by 2 inches from the base to create my curve, and I joined that to the other side of the top, just as you can see. Then from the original stitch line or stitch mark that I did, the initial one, I went in by 1 inch so that it won't be so pointed. So from that stitch, I went in by 1 inch and then joined from the waist to it. I also went ahead to create 1 inch sewing allowance and then cut off the excess, as you can see me doing. So at this point, I am doing all the adjustments I need to do. I am reshaping it at the bottom a little bit. The next thing I'll be doing is to go and sew my new, all the adjustments I did. So I left a little bit of sewing allowance, 1 inch, just as before. So I'm going to sew my new side seams together, and I will be back. This is how it's looking so far. It's really nice. I inserted my boning and it's looking nice. So I did one side. I folded in 1 inch at the center back. I am going to do the same thing at the other side. I folded in 1 inch. Depending on how open you want the back of your corset to be, then you can decide how much you want to pull in. But then I pulled in only 1 inch because I didn't want the opening to be very wide. So I'm going to go ahead and then sew this side also all the way down, and now we are getting to the end of our corset top. So this is how it looks. I've folded in the center back. At this point, you can go ahead and then have your boning. You can actually have your eyelets, your lacing there. You can decide to put a boning there before your eyelets. It helps with the structure, but I ended up not doing that. So this is it. The next thing I'll be doing is to finish off the bottom part of the corset top, and I am doing this with this piece of fabric that I cut it on bias, so it's a bit stretchy. So I'm going to place it on the base of my corset and then sew it all the way. Once I am done, I will fold it to the lining part and then hem or tack it. So that is the next thing I'm going to be doing. Here we are, guys, almost the end of this corset top. So I have attached my strip to the base. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to just fold it over and then turn it inside the lining part and then use my needle and thread to tack it neatly in. So when you are folding it in, this is how it's going to be looking. This is how it's going to be looking. It has to look really neat and very professional. This is the easiest way you can finish up your corset. So just turn it, fold the excess in, and then fold it again, just as I'm doing. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but you can see what I am doing. And then I'll just go ahead and use my needle and thread to tack it all the way to the end, and I'll have something like this, very neat and very, very professional. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll see the outcome of the final work. I haven't added my eyelets because I forgot to get an eyelet machine. So this is how it's looking. This is the final work after tacking, and this is how the corset top is looking. Once I have my eyelet machine, I will go ahead and then add the eyelet to it. But then this is how it's looking. This is the back, looking really nice and beautiful, and this is how the front also looks like. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.